Good morning, Wednesday morning, bright and early, push session done. Third one in a row since we've been back. Very much getting back into the rhythm and routine, which is just what I needed after obviously a bit of time away. Tried to keep the routine in as much as possible, as I always do, but it's definitely nice to be back at home, back in familiar surroundings, and yeah, back to it. I say familiar surroundings, the possible exception of that being the fact that I am having to train back in my home gyms, which, you know, given some of the pretty amazing gyms that I had access to when I was back in the UK, maybe that side of things isn't quite as good as it could be. But yeah, they're not, you know, it's not awful. And as I say, sometimes it's just about trying to find that bit of consistency again. So back at it, feeling good actually. So in terms of strength, like pretty much back to where my strength was at before the shoot. To be honest, my strength didn't really dip a huge amount. My brother was asking me a little bit about, you know, when you are getting to this level of lean, like how much do you notice things like strength dipping? And I said, to be honest, it shouldn't. The only slight exceptions I had were maybe on the odd session at like the very, very tail end of things when I was, you know, low calories, really quite lean. Couple of like my bigger leg movements might have lost a little bit. So like, I think, you know, my hack squat, I might have lost a rep or two here or there, but honestly, nothing major. So yeah, strength in a good spot, back at it, back in the swing of things. It was actually quite busy this morning, which took me a little bit by surprise because I was there, I got up at 4:30 this morning. I was in that gym at about 10 to 5. Usually that time of the morning, there's maybe 2 or 3 people in there. And even when I pulled into the car park, you know, I could see probably a good 6 or 7 cars, which is rare. It's normally about 2 or 3 cars that are in there. So about twice as many cars, the decent number of people in there. And it actually just got busier and busier, as time ticked on, which just not particularly expected given the experience I've had at that time of the morning. But I was thinking about it. I know what's happened. It's because the usual situation where people have suddenly thought, fuck, it's June, we've had some nice weather, the summer's coming up, probably got holidays and stuff booked. Shit, I better do something about this. Like, I'm not in very good shape. I need to panic and, you know, take extreme measures to get myself in shape in a month, 2 months. And it's just, you know, I see this time and time and time again. It's where people just get it completely wrong. You end up taking really extreme measures to try and like lose some weight in 4, 6, 8 weeks time. You can lose a good amount in that time frame if you're doing things the right way. As I say, the trouble for a lot of people is that either they will just do something very, very extreme, and so even if they do lose a good chunk of weight, it's not going to be done in the right way. They're just gonna massively rebound and probably end up in a worse place than when they started. Or people simply just don't know what to do, so they don't really make any progress at all. You know, they're going to the gym, fantastic, but they're really not paying any attention to what they're eating, to quantities, to portions. And as you know, as most of us know, the food side of things is, for most people, the biggest battle. And so, as I say, like you tend to find that people fall into 2 camps. It's either like the very panicked, extreme approach, which just doesn't really help and ends up with people rebounding into a worse spot, or people who have good intentions, they just don't really know what to do to achieve the goal they have, and so they end up not really moving much at all. I will always encourage people to think about things much, much, much sooner. Genuinely, and this isn't just me saying this because like I'm a coach and I want you to sign up with me for months and months and months on end, because I want to coach you for as long as you need to be coached. Like there's a real benefit to me for someone staying with me for longer than they need to, because It just doesn't really make sense. But look, it's if you're thinking about getting ready for the summer and you've got a decent bit of weight to lose, you know, you're really not in the kind of shape you want to be, you honestly need to be thinking about that really early in the year. You know, you need to be, almost always it's going to take a lot longer than you realize, and there's going to be a lot more to lose than you realize. And so the combination of those things means that, you know, you probably need to be thinking more like, you know, 4, 5, 6 months to get where you want to be, not 4, 5, 6 weeks. But that's where a lot of people make the mistake. I've said this time and time again as well. We live in this short-term society. We live in this society where people struggle to concentrate on anything for more than 5 minutes, let alone 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years. So trying to have conversations with people to say, look, you know, in the position you're in at the moment, you know, you are going to need, you know, 4, 5, 6 months minimum to lose the weight, like potentially even longer than that. People are, unless you've got the right mindset, and I'm fortunate to work with people who are open to hearing those things, they're open to the fact that it's not an overnight change. Unless you're in that camp, unless your mind is in the right place, people are going to tune out to that, you know, and that's entirely up to them. Like if you genuinely believe that you can make life-changing transformations, you can totally re-engineer the terrible habits that you've got, you can lose the 40, 50, 60, 100 pounds that you need to lose. Like if you think you can do all of that in the space of, you know, 2, 4, 6 weeks, you know, fair play, but it isn't going to happen. And you will realize that after you've got very little progress in those time frames. So you really need to be thinking longer term. You really, really do. You know, thinking about things being, as I say, for most people, it's a case of months rather than weeks. And that's just the reality of the situation. So yeah, as much as I'm not going to complain about people being in the gym, I think that the intentions are in the right place. And it's great to see people taking charge of their health and their fitness and wanting to improve. I just suspect a lot of them are doing it with that panicked mindset, believing that they can make huge changes in short spaces of time. And most of those, unfortunately, are probably going to end up quite disappointed with where that leaves them. As I say, that is just the reality of the situation. But anyway, I shall leave this one here. I'm probably going to have popped up a little bit of training footage around this video, just so you can have a little look at what I've done this morning. I didn't film everything. Part of me just wanted to get in and get done, but I did manage to get a few things recorded, so at least you have a little bit of something to watch and not just me back in the car again. Anyway, let's get this day going, let's get cracking, and let's continue making insane progress. Good afternoon. Feels like absolutely, I nearly just fell over there. Feels like absolutely ages since I've just gone for a walk and spoken on camera. Most of what I feel like I've been doing recently is very much car-based content. Obviously there's been a bit of training footage in there as well, but yeah, it feels like ages since I've done this. And don't be too fooled by that blue sky behind you and the bright sunshine beating down on me. The weather has not been very good lately. I actually got a decent number of steps done on the walk pad this morning because it was chucking it down. I was jumping on a webinar, doing a bit of educational stuff, and you thought, you know what, let's just get some steps in while we're doing this, because I don't know if I'm going to get outside at all today. The weather's woeful, miserable, grey, wet, but it's turned out not too bad. So I just cracked on, got a decent chunk of work done, and then thought, you know what, I'm going to really, really quickly just get outside for a walk. Probably not going to do the full walk that I normally do, a much shorter version, because I've still got stuff that I need to crack on with. Larry's in the office today as well, which means I need to pick Louis up, get him sorted, get him fed, get him bathed, and then go and pick Lara up, and then she'll have a little bit of time with him before before we take him to bed, and then we need to eat and all of that stuff as well. But yeah, we've been back at home now since Sunday evening. I think I did mention that in one of the recent little updates. I don't even know how many of these I've done. It's been one of those weeks. Just got back fairly late on Sunday evening, and then we've just had to jump straight back into everything as the week's gone on. But it's good, it's busy, there's lots happening, and I would much rather it was that way than there being bugger all going on. So, but yeah, it's been good. I've managed to just get straight back into training. So I trained Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday mornings. Today it is Thursday, and today's a rest day. Also because Lara is in the office, so usually on the days that she goes to the office, I'd be at the gym at 4 o'clock in the morning. But I've done the last 3 days on the bounce. I'll be in there at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I thought, you know what, I'll treat myself to not having to get up until 5:30 this morning. Which, you know what, surprisingly does feel like a bit of a lay, and it's really, really weird how that happens. You know, I've got so used to getting up at either 4 o'clock, 4:30, that sort of time to be training, you know, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, that even just, you know, staying in bed till 5:30 feels like strangely like a lie-in. But it's good, it's all good. Lots of food prep already done this week as well, and I'm keeping that super simple. Again, like life is busy and there's a lot going on, and for me, the one pot meals, that's what it's all about. You know, if I can quickly throw a load of stuff in a big pan and just let that do its thing while I'm preparing the dinner on the evening, or while I'm literally just pulling together, you know, something to eat for lunch. If I can just throw, so a few of the things I've done this week already, made a chili really easily, basically just chuck it all in the pan and let it simmer down. Add your chopped tomatoes, stock and spices, easy peasy. Same for spag bowl, done the same thing there. And then I've also made a turkey mince curry, which we haven't had before, but we'll see how that is. Hopefully that's a nice one too. And otherwise it's just the air fryer, making, you know, use of that, cooking my chicken breast up in the air fryer, because then that's all sorted for, you know, my lunches for a couple of days at a time. I just have to cook a little bit of pasta to go with it, and then throw a quick salad together. So honestly, food at the moment, keeping it super simple, very tasty, on plan, and just nailing all the basics. I've got a few posts going out about the importance of this, like this post-shoot period. It's definitely a phase that you can get really, really wrong, and a phase that a lot of people will get wrong, because the temptation is all of a sudden you think, oh, look, I'm no longer in fat loss mode. And it doesn't have to be that you've got ready for a photo shoot or a competition, even just getting yourself lean for like holiday or an event, a wedding, whatever it is, just getting yourself to that lean phase where you do have to restrict things, you do have to say no to things. And then suddenly it's like, oh, I'm not in that phase anymore. So I can just eat whatever I want, and my calories are increasing and all of these things. And it's so easy that in that moment you can add like 5, 10, 20 pounds in a relatively short amount of time. I've done it in the past myself, and I didn't want that to be the case this time around. I really wanted to keep things super clean and tidy, which, you know, could have gone the other way very easily. I mean, we were still in the UK for, you know, almost 2 weeks after my photo shoot. My photo shoot happened pretty early in our trip. So that could very easily have meant that I completely went off plan. So I'm just trying to get this jacket off while I'm on the video, because it's getting warm. Here we go. Yeah, very easily I could have gone completely off piste. You know, we were out a lot. We were having days out. We were spending time with friends and family. Yeah, it could very, very easily have meant that I added a good 5, 10 pounds in the space of 2 weeks. But I didn't want that to happen. You know, I didn't want to find myself in that position. So I kept things as clean and tidy as possible, and it meant that I came back, even though, you know, the shoot happened, I was only about 2 pounds. I think I was like 2 pounds up when we got back home, which is honestly nothing in the grand scheme of things. It's fucking hell. That 2 pounds is just a little bit of additional water, a little bit of additional fullness. really, really well controlled out of that phase. So I'm actually pretty happy and proud to have done that, because I've certainly done the wrong things in the past. But yeah, keeping things on track, getting the steps in, getting the training in, still doing my cardio, nailing my calories and macros. Life is good. So anyway, let me just get this walk done, because I'm going to end up hot and sweaty and bothered. Get home, get my next meal in, bit more work, and then I'll pick Louis up. Good morning. That is pull done. Another nice early session in the bag. Yeah, really, really good one as well. Strength is continuing to increase from where I was before I went to England, which, as I said yesterday, is not unexpected, considering that food is higher than it was at that point. Food has obviously been gradually creeping up since post shoot, and yeah, just generally feel in a really, really good spot with that. So always nice to see the lifts going up. Oh, hairs in my mouth. Yeah, always nice to see the lifts going up. Strength feeling in a really good spot, and just generally just really enjoying training. And I do love training, full stop. It just is one of those things that just I've had in my life for a long, long time, and yeah, still is very much one of the things that I just absolutely love, going and being able to train and pushing myself and pushing my body and seeing the changes that happen. So overall, very, very good indeed. And yeah, that marks does it mark the last session? Not really. Depends how you look at it. Everyone will talk about, oh, it's my last session of the week. And I suppose if you're thinking about your week ending on a Friday, then technically it is. But I don't know whether I do necessarily think about my week ending on a Friday. So anyway, that is my Friday pull session. Yeah, another decent day yesterday. Managed to end up getting some good steps in. I didn't know if I was going to get any outdoor steps, just because the weather really hasn't been that great. It's looking a bit brighter this morning, so fingers crossed we're going to get a dry day. That'll mean that I can get out and actually do a decent bit outside. I did get outside yesterday in the end, just literally, I think I got back from my walk and within 15-20 minutes we had a pretty decent thunderstorm. So yeah, I was quite grateful to get back and not get caught in that, because I would have been completely and utterly soaked. So managed to time that pretty well. Hopefully get out for a decent one today. And then, as I say, let's get cracking with the weekend. We've got a busy day today, a couple of calls in, a couple of plans to write, a couple more calls to arrange. Things are heating up, which is just what I wanted, just what I expected. I think sometimes if you are, very focused on one particular thing, like my head was very much in photo shoot mode, and now I've got the ability to not completely switch off, because I don't ever really do that, but maybe my brain space is a little bit freer, a little bit clearer. So there are a few coaching spaces available. Anyone who's been following for a while, anyone who wants to have a chat about that, please do just drop me a little message or pop a comment below and I'll reach out to you. But yeah, I'm looking forward to pushing things now. We've got a decent chunk of time before the next trip away, unless we decide that we're going to book anything in the meantime. But at the moment, the next trip that we've got booked away is late August, early September. So a good few months to just absolutely knuckle down, focus, push everything. Growth is the name of the game when it comes to the gym. Growth is the name of the game when it comes to the business. Generally speaking, we're in growth mode. So it's a very exciting time and I'm looking forward to it. But on our way home now, not sure who will be up just yet. It's not quite 6:30 in the morning. So I suspect Lara might be up. She was up about this time when I got back the other day. But Louis slept in a little bit longer. So we'll see who's up and about. But yeah, let's get this day underway. Let's have a good one. And I'm going to turn up the tunes to really get things going. legs destroyed. Whew. First proper full leg session since we've been back at home. Nice bright morning for it. Yeah, in there at 5 o'clock. Nice quiet gym, and maybe there may be three other people in there today, which is not too bad. And I think there may be about 5 people in there as I was just leaving, and it's about 6:30 in the morning. So yeah, we don't mind that. We don't mind that too much. Interesting first night with the cat, or the kitten I should say, last night. Yeah. Lara had been assuring me for a long time as we were building up to getting it, don't worry, they're super easy. They don't really take much looking after. They by and large look after themselves. I get, obviously, it's a little kitten. It's the first time it was in a different place. It was away from its usual environment. But I honestly thought that our disturbed sleep nights were behind us, because we are very fortunate that Louis is a fantastic sleeper in the night. The kitten, had other ideas. It was pretty chilled in the evening. It was just like chilling out on me, laying down, falling asleep. And then the second we went upstairs, it decided that was playtime. So yeah, that was fun. So it just kept like scrabbling around everywhere, messing around with like the wires, trying to jump up on the bed, which I've said all along I really don't want it up on the bed, and Lara's the same. She doesn't really want it up on the bed either. So we brought like its little bed upstairs, thought it would just chill out in there. Nah, legging it around for ages, and then decided it would take a shit in the corner of the bedroom. So that was fun too. I think in the end, I can't remember, we probably went up at like 10, half 10. That's the usual time that we head up to bed. I reckon neither of us were asleep by, 11, half 11. And I'm pretty sure it went for the shit sometime around then. Lara got up and cleaned that up, and then it just kept like legging it about, and it just wouldn't chill out at all. So I think Lara ended up going and sleeping downstairs for a bit. I then came to and stirred at about 2 o'clock this morning, and she was back in bed. So I assume she hadn't stayed down there very long. I'm pretty sure the cat was next to her asleep, like on the floor in its bed asleep. And I then got up and I got up about 10 to 5 to go to the gym. I'm just on my way home now, so it's going to be interesting to see what is going on. Fortunately, I don't think the cat woke Louis, because it was like squeaking and running around and generally probably quite scared, poor little thing. But yeah, I don't think it woke Louis up. So hopefully he's had a good night's sleep. Hopefully Lara managed to get some sleep last night. My sleep was pretty broken, but I did manage to get some sleep. And yeah, I've just done a pretty decent leg session, fairly tough one, but legs always is. I like that element of legs, it just being particularly challenging. Pushed myself really hard. Like I say, first one back after getting back from the trip away. The old humbler that is the Matrix hack squat. Honestly, I swear that is the heaviest hack squat you will ever use. It's just, yeah. I mean, back in the UK, I was getting on some hacks and putting a decent number of plates on them, adding decent bit of weight to it. That Matrix hack, honestly, you can't put much on it before it just feels like you're trying to lift a house. It's crazy how quickly that seems to change. But anyway, had a pretty decent leg session. On my way home to eat now, see what's going on in the madhouse. Louis, Lara, Crumble the cat is apparently what we've decided to call it after much deliberation to be honest, much deliberation primarily on Lara's part. I wasn't over fussed on the name, but it seems like we've settled on Crumble. So yeah, we'll see what's going on. I'm just about to get home. So anyway, I hope everyone has had a very good weekend. It is Sunday morning. It is looking bright. Hopefully we'll get out a little bit today, because yesterday no one really got out anywhere. We took Louis to get a haircut. Lara went and picked the kitten up, but otherwise it was fairly home based. So yeah, hopefully we'll get everyone outside today. Everyone I think was going a little bit stir crazy yesterday. That may well mean the cat has to get left to its own devices for a little bit, but I mean, I guess it's going to have to get used to that at some point. Good afternoon. I nearly said good morning because quite often I record this Monday one in the morning, but it is already about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday. It's been a busy one. Up at 4 o'clock to go to the gym. Lara's in the office. The kitten has been the kitten. Louis got dropped off. Work has been packed. Lots of check-ins to do. Lots of stuff to get cracking with. Webinar recorded, not recorded, watched whilst I was out getting my steps in. And yeah, finally getting around to recording this little video. So Mondays always signal that sort of week end for me when it comes to my check-in weeks. And then, as you all know by now, I check in formally on a Tuesday morning. So this week I have actually lost 1.5 pounds. So despite the fact that I'm very much in like growth mode, and despite the fact that we've had 2 food increases even within this week. So following last week's check-in where things weren't really moving very much at all, Christian bumped 25 carb up on either day, just a little increase. I actually then saw my weight drop for a couple of days. So we bumped things up again by another 50 carb on either day. So over the course of this week, an extra 75 grams of carbs have gone into each of my training and my non-training days, an extra 300 calories onto each of those days, and I'm down 1.5 pounds on average. So although the last of those changes was only made on Saturday, so it has only had like a day and a half to actually kick in. So I would imagine, because I'm continuing to check in on a Thursday and a Saturday with weight and pictures, I'm not going to second guess Christian because I've got it wrong several times before, but it might be that we let things run. There's been a slight little jump back up on the scales this morning from where I was yesterday. So yesterday and the day before were slightly down, and then there was a little bit of a bump back up today. So depending on what that movement is tomorrow when I jump on the scales, we'll see how things go. But yeah, still feeling good, keeping things nice and tidy. The cat didn't shit in the bedroom last night. Actually, to be fair to it, it stayed downstairs and it didn't really make a noise. I think what we maybe made the mistake of doing the first night was just trying to almost stick very much to our normal routine. Whereas what we did last night, even though we left the cat downstairs, we still left a light on. And I think because it had gone to like complete pitch blackness, it just absolutely, it quite literally shit itself. Whereas, yeah, yesterday we left the light on and it seemed much more comfortable downstairs. So I think that might be certainly for initially, at least so it's got a little bit of light to be able to see like its food and where its litter tray and stuff is. I think that's probably going to be the answer to make sure that we get a better night's sleep, because Saturday night was pretty poor, let's say that. But yeah, as I say, feeling good. Pictures will obviously follow with the update tomorrow. So once I've sent my check-in, I'm back in the gym at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. So once I've sent my check-in over to Christian, he's got back to me. All of those pictures will go up with the little bit of the response. But yeah, just generally speaking, feeling good. Continuing to push, continuing to enjoy the training. There's a new training split coming as well. So once that comes through, so potentially in next week's video, I'll just talk through that new training split. So there's a couple of areas following my photo shoot that I would like to improve. So those are the areas that I'm going to focus on. And those are the areas that are going to get a little bit more attention within the new split as well. So Christian is just taking care of that as we speak. And yeah, as soon as that is ready, I will, of course, share more. But I hope everyone's good. I hope everyone had a really, really good weekend, and keep your eyes peeled for tomorrow's final little piece of this week's YouTube puzzle. Good morning, everyone. There we have it. A check-in has been sent to Christian. A check-in reply has come back, and probably as expected, although I didn't want to preempt things for Christian yesterday. I was actually going to say yesterday, I'm not sure, how many adjustments will get made. Although in the back of my mind, knowing how Christian works, I probably was expecting some to happen. So unsurprisingly, some changes have been made. another bump in food, so another 75 grams of carbs go into each day, which means that actually over the course of the past 7 days, there's been an increase of 150 grams of carbs on both my training and my rest days. So 600 calories gone on. I'm not complaining. It's very nice to have that additional food, but because I've managed this phase really, really, really well. I haven't gone silly. I haven't gone crazy. I haven't started piling food in unnecessarily. It's been really tidy. My physique shows that. I'll post the pictures up so you can have a little look. Like, everything's remaining really quite on point. Am I in? I mean, Christian said in the reply this morning, I could step in front of the camera again today. I mean, I'm still holding on to a lot of that leanness, as should be the case. There is absolutely no reason why 3 weeks post shoot or show, if it was a show, there's absolutely no reason why 3 weeks having come out of that, you should be fat. It just shouldn't be happening. So managing stuff well, back in rhythm and routine, which also means that life generally just feels a bit more settled. So yeah, nice little bump in the food. Physique is in a good spot. And the new training plan is also in place, which I'm going to just high level, I'm going to mention now, but then I'll talk through it in more detail next week because I'll have had an opportunity to run through it then as well. So we're going to push, pull, legs, push, back and hamstrings. So quite a lot of emphasis on the upper body. One of the things that I noticed, particularly coming out of the photo shoot and seeing some of the pictures in particular, I think like my whole sort of upper body is an area that could do with more, like particularly my chest, particularly my back, my triceps. I feel like my biceps biceps and shoulders came quite a long way from shoot to shoot, and there'll be various stuff that I'll show you with the comparison from my last shoot to this one, but real big sort of emphasis on that sort of upper body area, but also that whole posterior. It's interesting how these things highlight those weaknesses, and I think the nature of what it is. Like, everyone probably always needs more muscle everywhere. Some people have slightly sort of more, I guess, improved genetics for certain places. Like, my legs from the front are pretty decent. In my midsection from the front's pretty decent, but there's definitely room for improvement across, like I say, you'll hear it referred to like that top line, like upper chest, shoulders, all of that area there, the arms. And then back is an area for me that's always needed more attention. Again, there's definite improvements from like my last shoot to this shoot, but there's always more to be done. So push, pull, legs, push, back and hamstrings is the new split, which I am very much looking forward to. I'll run through that this week. I'll probably try and get a decent bit of training footage because it's all going to be a little bit new again. So there'll be plenty of that in next week's video. I'll try and talk through each session a little bit more, how I found it, what's going on. But yeah, for now, I'll leave this video here. I hope you're enjoying this little post-shoot phase. I'm still waiting for my edits to come back from the shoot itself, and then I will release the final episode of the shoot prep series that will culminate in actually like seeing all of those pictures. So yeah, they're on their way, they're being edited, and as soon as they come through, that one will get released. But I hope everyone's good. Have a fantastic week. Do all of that good stuff for me. Like it, subscribe it, share it, comment. You know what we're going to do? We're going to comment pen below if you've watched all the way to the end, because I massively appreciate you. And I'll see you again next week.